service team in North America. I've done a series of videos on the new Business One mobile service application, and this is one of several videos that I've done. In this video, we're going to focus on the integration with the iPhone capabilities, functions that we all take for granted when using an iPhone device, and how the Business One service mobile app uses that device to its fullest. I'm going to talk about several features, things like geolocation and mapping, the integration with the actual phone, integration with the camera at a couple of different levels in order to capture information via attachments, but also as a barcode scanner. There's another feature of the application that allows us to capture a signature using the iPad touch device. As we finish up a service call and want to email or text or record the document about that service call, we're going to use a PDF and then be able to email, text, or save that PDF document to our customer or to other places that we would like to keep that information. In the end, we'll talk about how we integrate the service calls with the iPhone calendar. And last but not least, we'll talk about an offline mode where if you don't have good service connectivity with a Wi-Fi or a cellular device, then you can save that information locally, still be able to process service tickets as a remote technician, capture information, record information, send information, and then when you get back to a place where you do have connectivity, you can upload all that data so it resyncs with Business One. You can see here on my desktop of my phone, I've got all the B1 mobile apps, and I'm going to click on the B1 service app. It remembers who I was. I'm a technician, Tom Silva, and I'm going to sign in with my password. So what we talked about is looking at the integration with the phone. We're not going to focus on kind of how the application works, but we're going to see how we've leveraged the different functionality of the phone with this mobile application. And the first of that is what I call geolocation and mapping. I can see here under the tickets that have been assigned to me, Tom Silva, I have 3 calls for today, one at 1, one at 3, and one at 5:30. And if I want to see where those are, I can see in each individual call there's an address. But if I want to see that on the map, I can click on the map icon, and it's going to drill into just those 3 service calls that I'm scheduled for today. And here on the map of Toronto, I can see I've got service call 1, 2, and 3, and I can see the physical locations where those service calls need to take place, whether they were all within downtown Toronto or across the greater Toronto area. I could see them all mapped out. The other feature of this is what I call geolocation. As part of a service call, we have this feature there in the middle called check-in. And this is meant so when the technician arrives on site and starts the service call, they hit the check-in button. And it wants me to confirm that I want to do that. I'm going to say yes. And it's going to note that I've checked in. Now what it's doing is actually using the latitude and longitude of my phone, geolocation that's part of every phone, and it checked me in and recorded the fact that I checked in at a particular time at a particular latitude and longitude. Now, if I drill into the address on this, which is where I'm supposed to be at King Street in West Toronto, I can see 2 things. I can see the one in red, which is the service call address, and then I can see the geolocation of that check-in. And it tells me exactly where my phone is, or where it thinks my phone is. I'm located here in Chicago. That's a pretty accurate representation, and it records the fact that I checked in at 11:52 a.m. So, in addition to knowing where I need to go, I can use this check-in and now the checkout feature, again, confirm it, and it's going to record those 2 events with the date timestamp as well as the latitude, longitude, so I can actually say at where I was when I checked in and checked out. So that's one feature. The next feature is pretty simple. It's an integration with the phone itself. I've got Judy Brown from Microchips that I've got some information, contact information. I actually have her phone number. And if I hit the call button, it's going to actually try to call Judy Brown. I'm here. Where are you? I'd like to come talk to you about this printer that I'm going to work on. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the integration with the camera. And there's 2 different ways. One of them is pretty simple. It's using the camera feature to take a picture. So again, I see that take photo. So I'm on this service call and I'd like to capture some information about this service call. And I'd like to take some pictures. Now I'm going to just take a picture of my keyboard, but using the camera, I can then say, use this photo. And what it's going to do when I say done, it's actually going to save this as an attachment called Capture Keyboard, PNG, and it allows me to associate all those images that I captured, here's my keyboard, with this actual service call. So if you're familiar with a service call, you can create attachments. This is one way you can do that. The other feature that I'm going to use my camera for is a barcode scanner. In this case, this service ticket was not only for a particular item, which I can barcode if it's barcoded, but I can also barcode the serial number. And I'm going to click on that little scanner feature here, and it's going to open up my phone and a scanner feature, and I've scanned a barcode. It's going to say, oh, I know what this is a A006 rainbow laser printer. Do you want to update it? I'm going to say yes. So a second feature of my phone is to use it as a barcode scanner. The next thing is, let's say I've serviced this printer, I've did everything I need, it's up and working, I've talked to the customer, and I want to capture this whole event as well as get my customer's signature. So I'm going to hit next, go to the signature, and up is going to be a keypad or a touchpad that I can walk over to my customer and say, please, I'd like to capture your signature that I did this work. So I'm going to do that, hit done, and when I do that, it's going to ask me, do you want to close the ticket? Yes, I'm going to say yes. So I've now just captured that customer's signature. The next integration is I want to take this summary, this ticket summary, and I want to print out a report, and then I want to actually email that or text it or save that report using my iPhone. So I'm going to go ahead and generate the report. So here's my report. Here's my crystal report, and I can see I've actually got, in addition to the information about the service call, I've got that signature captured. But up in the upper right-hand button, there's that familiar iPhone send command, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to give me all the options I can use with my phone in the case of sending this document. I can send it via text message, I can send it via email, copy it to Dropbox or other apps that I have. So as a function of what I've got installed on my phone, or I can actually copy it, save it to files, or print it. I'm going to email this, so up pops the email integration, and I'm going to send it to myself. Can add information to it, but I'm going to go ahead and just click send. Last couple of things I want to talk about when it comes to integration with the actual iPhone. Everyone knows that you've got calendars or multiple calendars on your iPhone, and we have the ability to synchronize this service call calendar with my iPhone. And if I go ahead and say OK, it's going to basically take all those events and put them on my iPhone calendar. The last thing I want to talk about here is an offline mode. So I'm going to click on the configure icon here, and I can see here I've got some other settings, but one of them is offline settings. I have the ability to, if I've got poor connection or I know I'm going to have spotty connection now, I can take all these service calls and download them so that they can be manipulated, edited, captured. All that information I showed you can be saved. And when I get back to a Wi-Fi connection or a good connection, I can go ahead and upload that information. So I have the ability to download the data either 3 months at a time, 1 day at a time. I'm going to do 3 days and do that, and now it gives me access to that 3 days of information on my phone without having a Wi-Fi or an internet connection. Those are the features as it comes to integrating my iPhone, and appreciate your time. Thanks.